You know them, you love them. Those little icons living up in the corner of your browser. They help us find coupons, they fix our grammar, they block annoying ads. But here's the thing. Browser extensions are way more powerful than most of us realize. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden dangers that come with them.
Okay, so let's start with a quick definition, just so we're all on the same page. A browser extension is basically a tiny app for your web browser. Super useful, right? But their real power and their real danger comes from just how deeply they're allowed to plug into everything you do online. This phrase, this one right here, is why we're talking about this. It's that permission pop-up you've probably clicked, yeah, sure, whatever, on a dozen times. But just stop and think about what it's saying. It's not asking to read one website, it's asking to read and change your data on all of them.
And that's the perfect way to think about it. See, an app on your phone is usually stuck in its own little box, a sandbox, they call it. It can't really mess with other apps. But a browser extension with that level of permission, it's not in a box. It's sitting right next to you on the couch, watching every single site you visit, every password you type. You haven't just given it a tool, you've handed it a key to your entire digital house.
So, what happens when you accidentally give that key to the wrong person? Let's dive into the risks that are humming away silently in the background, completely out of sight. Well, the most obvious threat is just straight-up theft. A malicious extension doesn't need to be clever and hack into your accounts. Why would it? You already gave it a front-row seat. It can just sit there quietly and wait for you to log into your bank, or open your email, or check your private messages.
And this is exactly how they do it. They can act like a keylogger, grabbing your passwords as you type them. They can scrape your credit card number right off a checkout page. They can literally read your emails along with you. If the information passes through your browser, they can potentially grab it. But it doesn't stop with just stealing what you type. Extensions are an incredible delivery system for all sorts of malware. Think about it. We trust them, they run silently, and because we technically installed them, our antivirus software might not even flag them as a threat. They're the perfect Trojan horse. So let's talk tactics. An extension could send you to a fake banking website that looks exactly like the real one. It could inject nasty ads onto perfectly safe websites. Or, and this is a big one, it can steal your authentication cookies. You know how you stay logged into Google or Amazon? That's a cookie. If a hacker steals that, they can just walk right into your account without even needing your password.
Now, this is a really important distinction to make. Not every bad extension is technically malware. Some are just incredibly invasive. They aren't trying to wreck your computer. They're just quietly tracking every single click, every search, every item you look at online. Then they bundle up that profile of you and sell it to the highest bidder. It might be legal, buried in some privacy policy you'd never read, but it's still a huge invasion of your privacy.
And here's the part that might be the most unsettling of all. An extension that you've used and trusted for years, one that was perfectly safe yesterday, could become a threat tomorrow. And you wouldn't have done a single thing wrong. It just happens through an automatic update.
This scenario plays out all the time. A developer makes a fantastic, useful tool that gets millions of downloads. Then some shady data mining company comes along and offers them a life-changing amount of money for it. The developer sells. The new owners then push a tiny little update that adds some spyware. And just like that, millions of people are compromised without a clue.
Okay, so beyond the scary stuff like malware, there are other costs to think about. These are the quieter problems that just sort of chip away at your daily experience. You ever feel like your browser just gets slower over time, or websites start acting weird? Well, every single extension you have installed is another program running in the background, eating up your computer's memory and processing power. Now multiply that by 5, 10, 20 extensions, and yeah, you're going to feel it. Things slow down, sites break, and your browser can even start crashing. And this whole problem is about to get way more complicated because of AI. The new wave of super powerful AI assistants that plug into your browser, they take these risks to a whole new level by asking for permissions that make the old ones look tame. These tools need to read everything on your page, watch what you copy and paste, and even get the power to act for you, like writing and sending an email. The convenience is, incredible, but if one of these tools gets compromised, the potential for damage is just massive. Okay, after all that, I know exactly what you're thinking. The only logical answer is to just uninstall everything and go back to a plain, empty browser, right? And look, that's definitely the safest thing to do, but it's maybe not the most realistic.
The goal here isn't to give up on these great tools forever. The goal is to change how we think about them, to go from being a passive user to an active, skeptical one. It's about having a game plan, a playbook that lets you get all the benefits while keeping the risks as low as possible.
All right, so how do we do that? How do we make smarter choices? Let's build that security playbook right now. We'll start with the red flags you should always be looking for. Before you even think about clicking that Add to Chrome button, run through this list. Does this thing have hardly any users? Sketchy. Is a simple screenshot tool asking to read and change all your data? No way. Does it promise something that sounds impossible? It's a trap. And if you can't find out who made it or read their privacy policy, just walk away.
Now, even with the safest extensions, there are certain times when the risk is just too high. When you're doing something really sensitive online, the potential downside of something going wrong is so great that it's just not worth it.
For things like this, online banking, work stuff, anything confidential, the absolute safest move is to use a separate, clean browser profile that has 0 extensions installed. Think of it like a sterile room you only enter when you're handling your most important information.
So here it is, your action plan. Step 1, be a minimalist. Only install what you actually need from developers you trust. Step 2, actually read the permissions pop-up. If it feels like too much, it probably is. Step 3, do a clean out. If you haven't used an extension in 6 months, just get rid of it. And finally, step 4, set a reminder on your calendar to do this whole audit every few months.
If you only take one single thing away from all of this, let it be this idea. In security, there's a term called the attack surface. It's all the possible entry points a bad guy could use. Every single extension you install makes that surface bigger. It's another door, another window, into your digital life. Your job is to make sure every single one is necessary, trusted, and locked tight. We really hope this has given you a totally new way to look at those little icons in your browser. The power to keep yourself safe is right there in your hands. So go on, take a look at your browser right now. After everything we just talked about, which extension is going to be the first one you check?